Welcome to another episode of Quick Hits from Rollout Marketing. Man, do we have a special guest for you today. My friend Corrie Leister is joining me all the way from tropical Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Corrie is the owner of Inspired by You. She is known colloquially as the Cabinet Queen. Corrie, thanks for joining me.
Of course. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Good. All right. So I brought you on to talk about discipline, which is something that you are famous for within our industry. And I know you are passionate about and you like talking about. So let's
Yeah.
start with your thesis. If I said discipline is what, you would say?
Discipline's the mark of a winner. It's the mark of a winner. Like, I believe that every champion, every winner out there, like, there's no secret to success, and it all lies in your daily routine, which boils down to discipline.
I love that. The mark of a winner. Wow. Talk about your experience. Why should people care about what you have to say about this topic?
Well, I'm a constant work in progress. Like, I'm not coming to you as a standpoint as I got it all together. I am the most disciplined person you will ever meet. I fail at this every single day, like most people, I believe. I believe everybody wants to be disciplined. And so hopefully today we're going to share some things that I've started to implement in my own life to help me become more disciplined. Like I said, I don't have it all together. I fail all of the time and I'm continually moving forward, but I want to be better. And I
Yeah.
feel like, especially with the start of the new year, I feel like a lot of people, like, they want to change this year. They want this year to be better than the last. So I feel like there's a lot of things that that we can talk about today that might help some people.
Yeah, I think everyone says they want to be disciplined, but really what they want is the results of the discipline that they see in other people's, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right. So what are some things that you've seen people do well when it comes to personal discipline?
Well, I mean, I just look at people like yourself and like the way that you put a premium on your health and your family and, your CrossFit, things like that. People like Nick Slavic, who wakes up every morning at a ridiculous 4 a.m, like that is, you see people across our industry who, they've figured some things out. And like I said before, success principles don't change. So if you want success, you just have to find somebody in life who is where you are and do what they've done. And a lot of times that's a lot easier said than done, because, you want the results of, a finely tuned body like a Matt Kuiper, you want, well, I don't want to look like Matt Kuiper, but maybe you do. Like, I
You
would
know
prefer
what?
to look like
Maybe Matt
Maggie.
Kuiper wants to look like me, but that's a different conversation.
I would prefer to look like Maggie, but
Yeah.
but you want that. But like you said earlier, a lot of people, they just don't want to do what it takes to get there. And so there's little things that a lot of people see, like they think it's this huge jump to get where that is from where they are. And really, it's not a far jump. It's just a series of small choices on a daily basis that will eventually get you there. And so, I read a book a long time ago called The Slight Edge, and it's just that principle of just choosing small things on a daily basis that will in turn separate you from the masses long term.
So you see people that put a premium on the things that they care about. I mean, should it start then with identifying what those passions are? Is that maybe
Yeah.
the root of all this is a passion?
No doubt. I think you have to be passionate about it. You have to be passionate and you have to make a daily decision. Like, it's a choice.
Yeah.
It can't be based on motivation. Like, motivation is like, it will get you there only so far, but you have to make a daily choice.
Yeah.
And I grew up with my mom who always said, life is all about choices. You are where you are because of the choices that you've made. And that's just how I grew up. And so it's so true. I've made poor choices and I've reaped the harvest of those poor choices. And
Yep.
I've made really good choices. And again, I've reaped the harvest of those choices as well. So it's just those daily small actions, but it boils down to that passion. It boils down to, like, what do you really want? And I mean, in our life, we talk about, having it, you want to have your faith, you want to have your well, we talk body, mind, soul, serve.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how we break it down. Like, those are the things that we're passionate about. Body, you know, getting your body right and being able to function at an optimal level. And then your mind, getting your mind right. What are you doing to grow your mind? I love to read. And so, like, am I investing time into reading and expanding my mind, expanding my growth? Your soul. Like, I love spiritual development. I love spending time in my Bible. I love, like, you know, just praying and spending time with my creator, and then just serving. Like, what
Yeah.
else do you have to do but serve? And for me, that's one of my passions. And I get filled up by just going out and serving other people.
Yeah. It's definitely easier to be disciplined when you're passionate and you actually
Yeah,
care, right? Yeah.
no doubt.
So, what are some common struggles then that you've seen people have when it comes to discipline?
I know for me specifically is if I fail, then I tend to quit. You know, like it's okay if you miss a day. Like if you sleep in one day,
Mhm.
the end of the world is not going to happen. But a lot of people, they just end up just, oh, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think just learning to give yourself grace
Mhm.
through the process. I think learning to give yourself grace will really help to persevere and help you stay disciplined.
Yeah, and certainly at the beginning of any journey, that's when the discipline is the hardest. Like,
Mm,
I think back to when I finally decided, all right, I'm done being out of shape. I want to start
yeah.
working out. The first 2 months were the absolute worst. Your body aches, you have no motivation, you're tired. It's a total shock to your
Uh-huh.
mind and your body. That's when most people quit. They're like, I
Yeah.
just don't have it in me. Because in their mind, that's the journey forever. You're
Yeah.
always gonna feel like that. But the people that make it through that first 4, 6, 8 weeks of that difficult physical journey, they start to see some of the results then, right?
Mhm.
Ooh, oh, wow, little muscles are popping out in my arms, my gut's going away, my energy level's higher than ever. Start to get
Yeah.
the confidence. And then at that point, I think the discipline is much easier
Yeah.
because you believe that you're seeing the results, you believe that the results will continue to come, right?
Yeah. No doubt. No
I
doubt.
saw that I did that year. I challenged myself to work out every day for a year,
Mm,
right? I thought it was gonna be really difficult, and really after that first month, it
mm.
became normal because it was just
Yeah.
one of my habits, one of my disciplines. I knew that at some point I had to work out, working into my calendar, and you get it done easy peasy. So that's the first
Yeah.
thing that's something you see people fail and then
Mhm.
they just quit. And
Yeah.
you think that's more from, like, the shame of failure, or is it just they're discouraged, they don't think that they can do it? What the discomfort? What do you think?
I don't know. I think a lot of times people try to do too many things at once, like change too many things at once. I think
Mhm,
if you take it in bite-sized pieces and you just do like little changes, and then like you said, you experience the results,
mhm,
and then you want to pile on a little bit more.
mhm,
It's when you pile on things too quickly that it just sets yourself up for failure.
yeah,
And you know, I think just by taking it just in bite-sized pieces, it will really help.
yeah. One of the personal struggles I've had around discipline, I consider myself a pretty disciplined person, um, but I tend to make excuses for myself. "Oh, I'm
Mm,
doing pretty well in this area, so if I'm slipping in this area, that's okay." The main thing for me is
yeah,
my diet. I work
yeah,
out every day, but if I had even a fraction of that discipline when it comes to my diet, I would
mhm,
really be able to feel and look the way that I really want to. But I'm like,
yeah,
"Yeah, they say you can't outwork a bad diet, but I almost can."
mhm,
Right? So I make those
yeah.
excuses. Do you ever struggle with anything like that?
Oh, no doubt. Like, for a
Yeah.
long time, I would work out just so I could eat whatever I wanted. You
Yeah.
know, it's
That's why
you
you do
know,
CrossFit is to eat whatever you want.
right, you
Yeah.
know, it's those things I think, yeah, I think that there's always those challenges and there's always those, just barriers.
Mhm,
Um, they say that it takes 19 days to create a habit. And I
mhm.
think if you bust through those 19 days, then it's a lot smoother. It's kind of like riding a bike. Like when you start riding the bike, it takes a little bit more momentum to get those pedals moving, but then after you start rolling, like it's just kind of smooth sailing.
Yeah.
So I think when we develop those habits and we get there, I think that's where that momentum will pick up. But I think we all have those challenges, those struggles,
Mhm.
those barriers
Yeah.
that we deal with.
So the periods of your life where you feel like you have been most disciplined in your
Uh,
lifestyle, what are some of the benefits you see from that?
mm. I feel like I got to a point where I was just so sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Mhm.
It's like you have those moments where I'm feeling overworked. I'm feeling like I'm going in every direction and I don't have enough time. And so I got to that point where it's like I just need to start doing something different.
Mhm.
And I did, and it's made all of the difference in the world. For me, um just finding those big rocks, like those big priorities, and then putting those in the jar first, and then the smaller rocks, and then the sand, and then the water. Like just finding your big priorities. And for me, one of my biggest priorities is my prayer life. And so it's like figuring out how to make time in my day. And so that's one of the biggest changes that I've made personally that has really helped me. It's flowed into all of the other areas of my life, and
Mhm.
whatever it is for you, like, there's those big rocks, those big priorities that will flow out into all of the other ones when you get those big things right. And so for me, like, I wake up I'm not a Nick Slavic, I don't wake up at 4, but I do wake up at 5, and I get up, and I ride my bike. I have my bike here, I'll ride my bike, while I'm riding my bike, I listen to worship music, I pray,
Mhm.
I spend time reading in the mornings. I get all of those stuff done so that it just helps the flow of the rest of my day. And I think that, there's just something to be said about getting up early. And,
Mhm.
a little thing that you could do just to start your day right is make your bed. Like, I've read that on in so many success books. It's something simple, but it starts your day off by checking one thing off of that list. And it's so easy to do. And even if that's just a discipline to start, is just getting up and making your bed, like, that's a place to start. And then you feel good when you start checking those things off of that list, that you can start adding other things. And, um, I found that I I had my phone by my bed, and I used it as my alarm. So at nighttime, I would just be scrolling, or I would be binge watching Amazon
Mhm.
or Netflix, whatever it was, and I would do that at night. And I got one of those RO boxes. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
Mm.
it's like a family charging station. So now, instead of having my phone in my bed, I put my phone in the RO box as soon as I get home from work, so I don't have to look at my phone at all. And
Wow.
then before bed, I'm reading or I'm doing something productive, and then I'm able to go to bed. I get a much better sleep. It's amazing how much better I'm sleeping,
Yeah.
and then I'm able to wake up early. So it's just like those little decisions that don't seem like a huge thing, but it makes a world of difference.
Well, discipline definitely has a cascading effect, right? What's
Yeah.
the saying? The way you do one thing is the way you do all things. And as
Yes.
you develop discipline in your spiritual life, or your physical life, or your professional life, it naturally is going to permeate through those other areas, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so how about the consequences of living an undisciplined life? What have you whether have you seen of maybe your personal life or from other people, the consequences of that?
Yeah, I mean, my health stinks when I don't take care of myself. Like, I have chronic pain, I have
Mm.
degeneration in my spine. So, like, there's when I don't take care of myself physically, like, it hits me hard to the point where I get nauseous when it's about to rain, and, like, I can't function fully. So
Mm.
even just my physical health, it's so important that if I don't keep up with it, if I let that slide, if I'm undisciplined in that area, man, it affects everything. I am so
Mhm.
angry and cranky, and, like, my family is like, "Stay away from me."
Yep.
So it affects all areas. So that's just one thing, like, man, it bleeds. Like you said, it it just bleeds into all areas, but at the same rate, it's contagious. I think when you're undisciplined, it's contagious to your family, and then your
Right.
family becomes undisciplined. But
Yeah.
when you are disciplined, I found, like, now Chad's waking up early. Now
Mhm.
Chad's reading his Bible in the morning. Now Chad's taking walks around the neighborhood. So I feel like it's contagious in a good way too. And And it's not like you do it for show. It's just like, this is what I decided to do. I'm going to do it. But then other people start to catch on. And I believe that it's happening in our business team too. And it's just I feel like there's something powerful when you just make that choice. Look, I'm going to choose to be a little different, and you go that path because, like I said, it's contagious, and it will draw other people.
Well,
It will either draw or repel people.
I'm feeling a little attacked with the early morning rising talk.
Oh,
So we've established a different discipline. I'm not an early riser.
okay.
We have our kids come. We do like a 10-15 minute family cuddle
I
in our
love that.
bed to start our day every morning at 7 a.m. So
Yeah,
it's a different discipline with that I
yeah.
hope is contagious,
Hey,
and it's productive in other ways. Oh, you guys in your early mornings.
well, hey, if that's listen, this is not like a guilt or a shaming party
Right.
by any means, because like I said, I've learned so much along the way, but you're in that season. Like,
Yeah.
you've got little kids, and I had, like, there was years where,
Mhm.
my son, he's 12, and I'll still say, "Mom, come snuggle me," and
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
priority,
That's
like,
cool.
that's so important, and these years are so precious, and that should be a big rock for you
Yeah.
right now. And
Yeah.
so you have when you have your priorities set, like, those disciplines are going to change throughout the different seasons of your life. And never feel guilty for where you are
No.
or the stage that you're in, as long as you know your priorities and you've got your big rocks in that jar and you're trying to meet them, and just be better today than you were yesterday. Like, that's a huge win.
Yep. Priorities, intentionality. Thank you
Yes.
for the affirmation. So which areas do you think it's most important to practice discipline?
Well, I think I've said it a couple times. For me, it's just getting that I'm grounded in my faith, because I feel like that it's our number one core value with our business team. We're faith led, um, but it's who I am, and it's such a big part of me. So I I w I can't explain it any other way. Like, that
Mm,
to me, that would be one of my top disciplines. And I would also say, just taking care of your health.
yeah.
Like, I think that that is so important, to take care of your health, but not at the expense of your family.
Mhm.
Like, I think it's gotta be a balance. Like
Yep.
like I said, body, mind, soul, serve, like, they're all important.
Yep.
Um and if you can manage a balance in there, that's that's the best possible solution. But again, your life is gonna be unbalanced a lot. Um, but just knowing your priorities, having a list of things that you need to accomplish throughout the day, and knowing the biggest things that you need to do, so you can check those off of your list, and you can feel. I think it's based on whatever makes you fills you up the most, because whenever we're depleted, like, it's like we go around with these buckets, and if you're constantly pouring into other people and nobody's pouring into you, you need to find things that pour into your bucket so that you're able to overflow into other people, because you can't walk around on empty.
I feel like some people are like naturally disciplined, or maybe they were raised
Mhm.
in a family where that was a priority. Like that's Rachel for sure.
Yeah,
So she's naturally disciplined because of how she was raised. Is
yeah,
there any hope for people that maybe don't have that intrinsically or weren't raised that way?
no doubt. Like, I was disciplined in some areas, but I was
Mhm.
very undisciplined in other areas. And I think, well, and I think that discipline is a learned discipline.
Mhm.
I think that
Sure.
you can train yourself.
Yeah.
I think that you can train yourself to be disciplined. I think that you can either find an excuse or you can make a
Mhm.
reason. And if you find a reason to be disciplined, like, if you find those things that you're passionate about, if you find those things that fill you up, then that's a good reason to start
Yeah.
getting disciplined.
Yeah.
And I think that you can absolutely train yourself to be disciplined. I was not a morning person. I'll say I was
Mhm.
not a morning person, but I'm becoming a morning person because I just made that choice. And for me, it was like finding, how the heck do I wake myself up? You know what I mean? And, like, for me, it was like, okay, I just got an Alexa because I don't have my phone by my bed anymore. I need an alarm clock. So I got an Alexa, and I couldn't put the alarm to like my voice or to certain things, but I could set a reminder. And
Yeah.
so I can have the reminder say anything that I want it to. Get your lazy butt out of bed right
Yeah.
now, or like whatever I want that reminder to say, it will go off at 5 in
Yeah.
the morning. And then it will spur me to, okay, yes, I got to do this. And
Yeah.
so there are ways to find solutions
Yeah.
to be disciplined. Like, I think we can be excuse eliminators. Like,
Mhm.
there's so many people out there who are living a life where they could have every excuse in the book why they can't do it. So find people who have done it and seek those
Mhm.
people out, because those are the champions. Those are the people who, they've got that. I don't know. I like that smoke of battle on them. Like, that they're out there, they're making changes in their life and their lives of other people. I think that it is I think it's so essential to find those people who have eliminated excuses in areas where you want to excel,
Yeah.
and just do what they've done.
I think people might be very surprised if they knew that I am maybe the laziest person that I know, and
Really?
discipline does not come naturally to me. Oh yeah, I am so lazy. But I use my calendar and I use
Huh.
my values and what I really, really am passionate about to
Yeah.
stay disciplined. And honestly, Corey, if you had met me 12 years ago, you wouldn't even recognize me. You
Mm.
probably wouldn't like me. Very different person, but I think that's a testament to, growing up, I was not disciplined. I didn't come from that type of family, and it wasn't until I just said, "You know what? This is not the man that God created me to be,"
Mm.
and so I'm making changes.
Yeah.
And like that was the kickstart that I needed to then get my faith right and my fitness level right, and then every relationship since then has
Mm.
been 100 times healthier than relationships I had
Yeah.
prior to that, so, yeah. Alright, well, we're getting close to the end here, so I
Yeah.
like to leave listeners with a couple action items, couple takeaways.
Mhm.
So, what are 2 things that listeners can do today to either begin establishing some discipline in their lives or strengthen the discipline they currently possess?
Um, Make a list of things that you're passionate about. And then number that list from like 1 to whatever, because then you're gonna have an idea of what your top priorities are in your life, and then build your disciplines around those things. And if they're so important to you, how can you become your best self in that area?
Mhm.
So if your health is number 1 on that list, how can you become your best self in that area? Um, and then make your bed. You know, that's one discipline that you can do when you wake up in the morning, and it doesn't require talent. It's just a decision. And ultimately, that's what a lot of this is. It's just a decision to choose to do small things on a daily basis that will, in turn, over the long haul, set you up for great success. And I would just say, find your priorities and just get up and start with a great decision. Make your bed, check something off of your list, and get started on the right foot. And I think everything else will fall into place.
Love it. There you go, listeners, you heard it here. Make a list, make your bed. There you go, steps 1 and 2 to living a highly disciplined life. Corey, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your friendship and, your influence on the people that we all know and love. So, thank you again.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.